All right. Well, then we're going to finally we'll give you an interesting pick, Arash.
All
Jacksonville
right.
at
All
number
right. So at number 9, Jacksonville. This is my first pick where it's actually not obvious, right? For the GM or for me. So David Caldwell, GM of the Jags since 2013. He's had some decent drafts. So he got Josh Allen out of Kentucky last year, Gardner Minshew in the 6th round, obviously. DJ Chark, wide receiver who blew up in fantasy. He got him in the 2nd round in 2018. And then they had Rodney Harrison, who hasn't really panned out, but I follow safeties and he was a safety out of Alabama that he drafted in 3rd round. I love that guy. I'm hoping he pans out, but he's not a big name yet. And obviously Leonard Fournette back in 2017. So he's had some okay drafts. I think this one will probably be one of his more difficult ones. There's no clear-cut guy to get, but they need help at tackle. And so if we're saying Jedrick went right before them, I think they get Tristan out of Iowa. This tackle had the best 40, the best vertical jump, and the best broad jump out of all the tackle class in the draft. And he's 6'5". I guess we were just mentioning, yeah, 6'4" and some change, right?
Yep.
So he's got the size. If there's no DT or middle linebacker available, assuming Isaiah and Derek Brown are gone, which are positions that the Jacksonville Jaguars do need, then I think they go tackle. And I think I would draft Tristan, and I think that is what they end up doing.
So we got to help Gardner Minshew from running around. Not Nick
Yeah, you
Foles.
need
They got
to.
rid of that contract somehow.
Lucky.
Pete, what do you think? We keep leaving you last, so I'm gonna let you go first this time. What do you think?
Well, it kind of works out because, like, with Arash and then me picking afterwards, I got to keep figuring out what he does. So I like kind of going last. But, yeah, I think it's a terrible pick. You should probably let him drop to me in the next pick.
Were you waiting for him?
Yeah, but no, I think absolutely because that would have been my first pick coming up. So I think you're right with it. He's definitely the right pick right there.
They need it. Both those teams, right? Browns next pick up, they need to tackle big time too. And so if you look at it, Cards, Jags, Browns, 3 picks in a row, 8, 9, 10, all of them need tackle. And so you're going to go the first 5, 6, 7 picks without tackles, and then 8, 9, 10, they're all going to fly off the board.
I am going to disagree with the offensive tackle selection.
Damn, way to just deflate my balloon.
Me too. I actually disagree too. So
I think that they're going to go corner. They're going to
Okay.
reach for C.J. Henderson out of Florida,
Okay.
who's a very good corner. I don't think he's top 10 worthy. But, there are always going to be those players that get drafted in the top 10 that probably shouldn't have been there. And I think C.J. Henderson's going to be one of those guys because they're desperate at corner. They lost Jalen Ramsey. They lost the other guy, A.J. Abayu.
Mhm.
Who's going to cover guys now? So they got no one. So I
Right.
definitely think that they're going to go corner with their first pick in this draft.
And C.J. Henderson was the number 1 projected corner this time last year. He wasn't entering the draft last year, but it's crazy how in 1 year your entire projection could change. Go ahead,
Well,
Gobia.
he's like the number 2 guy after Jeff
Well,
Okudah.
yeah, him and this one other guy out of LSU, right, Fulton. I keep hearing them switch swap, but it's crazy that he was the number 1 unanimous, and now all of a sudden Jeff Okudah's name comes out of nowhere, and now Fulton is right there with C.J. Henderson. When this time last year, Henderson was the number 1 projected guy.
Yeah.
So, JP, question for you: are you going with him because you're assuming Okudah wouldn't be there in the draft, or are you just like him better?
I'm going based off Okudah not being there in the draft.
Okay, because I feel like in the normal draft, like I feel like he would be available there.
I think Jeff Okudah goes in the top 5.
Yeah, I agree with J.K. He's gone in top 5.
I agree. I concur. Who's the defensive lineman? Yannick, what's his last name? That's going to be gone. The defensive lineman.
The Gross Modus guy from Penn State.
No. I'm talking about the Jags. No. The Jags defensive lineman right now that they franchise tag.
Oh, Yannick. I know who you're talking about, Nick.
Okudah or something like
Last
that?
name starts with an N.
Yeah, that guy.
The guy they franchise tagged.
Yeah, okay. I can't say his name. I'm looking at it now.
They're looking to trade him. They lost Calais Campbell, right? They lost Marcel Darius. They need help on the D-line.
That's what I think they go. I think they go with Javon Kinlaw. I mean, he's a disruptor, and they need help. They're going to lose everyone on that line. Offensive tackle, I don't think is as big of a need as their whole defense used to be like lights out, and everyone is now gone. So
right.
I think you got to go defensive line, and I think that he's going to be a disruptor even in the NFL at this point. So That's where I think the Jaguars should go. But
Yeah,
yeah,
the DT out of South Carolina, right? First
yeah,
team All SEC.
yeah.
Yeah, he'd be a good pickup for them too.
Yeah. All right. I hope I stalled enough for you, Pete. You're up at number 10 with the Browns.
Yeah. So I mean, Arash and I kind of just touched on this. Both teams kind of needed they need that line, they need the tackle. Ideally, I would like to see Tristan Wirfs fall here, which I think they would too. But with it being said, I think it's going to be that domino effect of whoever goes first. I think the next two guys you have in lines, Mekhi Becton, you have Andrew Thomas. I'm going to go with the bigger guy. I'm going to go with Becton, and I think they go with him.
What do y'all think, Rush?
For sure. Yeah, I think they go with Becton. They need a left tackle opposite of Jack Conklin, who they signed in free agency to big money to play right tackle. So whether it's Becton or Thomas, I also would pick Becton if it was me. I think they might go Thomas, but knowing Cleveland, they always screw up their drafts. So they could very easily miss on this one. But regardless, I think they're going tackle. Just depends on who.
Yeah, depending on how the draft falls, I can see either Becton or Thomas, and whichever one's left, it's a toss-up what they do. I would personally agree with you and go with Becton, though.
I've seen Becton like all the way as high as 4, right, to go to New York. So people think his ceiling is pretty high. If he falls to 10, the Browns should pick him up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't know if they're going to go with offensive tackle because they just picked up an offensive tackle in free agency. So because of that fact, I think that they just go with the best player available. That is not wide receiver.
They don't need a wide receiver?
Would be Javon Kinlaw, in my opinion. But yet again, their defense is stacked also. I think really it just depends on what's on the draft board and who the best player available is.
I hope they do what you're saying because Cleveland is one of the few teams that may trade for Trent Williams. And so I don't want them to draft Mekhi because I'm hoping they trade for Trent and then use the 10th pick on someone else. But if they draft a tackle, whether it's Thomas or Mekhi Becton at 10, then the Trent Williams trade is off the board.
Yep.
I agree with you guys with offensive tackle. I think they still need the other side. So they need help on that line. That was one of Baker's big downfalls. He didn't have time to throw, and I guess he did too many commercials in the offseason, but that's different. Yeah, I think whoever's left at that point, if it's Tristan, if it's Mekhi, if it's Andrew Thomas at that point, it's Andrew Thomas. They're just taking whatever's left. Best offensive lineman available at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But now, oh man,
11.
Again. Damn it, it's a hard pick.
New York Jets.
At 11, New York Football Jets, not Football Giants.
They need help at a lot of positions too.
I think this is where Jerry Jeudy goes, man. I honestly.
Oh wow.
I mean, you need to help Sam Darnold.
Yeah, you do.
At this point, you lost Robbie Anderson. You can't go with Crowder as your number one. The Redskins did that and it didn't work. So I think you just got to go Jerry Jeudy, and you got to be happy with it at this point. I mean, his comps are OBJ, so like, what's the worst that could happen? That I also did clue in that I think Jerry Jeudy will end up in New York. I meant the Jets.
Yeah, he's a 2018 Biletnikoff Award winner. I think he's the best route runner in the draft. He's not the fastest guy. My fear with him is that he's small, and not height-wise, but weight. He's like 195 pounds wearing a wet towel. So those kind of receivers need a little bit of time to add some weight to make sure they can take the kind of hits. But A.J. Green, when he entered the draft, he was pretty skinny as well, and, he's obviously panned out pretty decently. So Judy's a good pickup for the Jets.
Yeah, I 100% agree with Jeudy. I think it's for New York, it's going to be between him and CeeDee Lamb, and Judy's the top guy, basically.
Agreed. That's what it was. It could be CeeDee Lamb, and honestly, it honestly could happen that way. He's got the DeAndre Hopkins comps going on everywhere. Like, it's not even just one site; it's everywhere. So it's one of the two. And I just went with Jerry Jeudy because I think once pro days and all that stuff somehow virtually happen, I think Jerry Jeudy will come back up. That's just how I feel about it. Pete, you're not next, so you can relax. You can tell us how you feel.
Yeah. No, I see it either way. The one, I was going to touch on with CeeDee Lamb. Potentially, maybe flourish in Shanahan's system, but I mean, it's either or, whichever guy pops off. At this point, we don't really know.
Yep. I feel you. I mean, they need help. They need help at cornerback. They need help at everything. But
They definitely need to take a receiver here. It's just the gamble on which one did they pick and which one pops off. You don't know. But I don't think you can go wrong with either or.
yeah, agreed. All right, Jake.
Number 12.
Number 12 pick, the Las Vegas Raiders. Who is going to Sin City? Who's Sin City's first pick?
This is an easy pick. I think they go with the best wide receiver available, who is CeeDee Lamb. They wanted to get Antonio Brown last year. Obviously, that didn't work out. Now they have a guy. Now they have the opportunity to pick up their number one guy. That's going to be CeeDee Lamb. Easy. If it's not CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be Jerry Jeudy. One or the other. They're 100% going with a wide receiver.
Agreed. Yeah, I had the Jets picking a lineman, and so I had Raiders going Jeudy. But if Judy's already gone, they're going to go with the All-American CeeDee Lamb. He had 6 games where he caught 144 yards or more. Right, that's insane. Big yards after the catch kind of guy. He's tough. I think it's a good pick. I can already picture him in a Raiders jersey. Even though they signed Nelson Aguilar in the offseason, I think Raiders still need offensive weapons. They wanted Antonio Brown last year. They didn't get him. This is how they fill that hole.
Exactly.
Pete, what you think?
I mean, no objections here. It's whichever one falls first, they're going to take the second one. So all good points.
I feel like I just want to throw some shade on it. Not shade. That's the wrong word. That's inappropriate word. I want to throw a wrench in this. That's what I want to say. I mean, Javon Kinlaw is still on the board. They could use defensive help. I mean, CJ Henderson's still on the board. They need corner help. They're really bad at the secondary.
I thought CJ Henderson got taken off the board.
Did he?
That was an alternative. No, I'm sorry.
Alternative. Yeah, that was an alternative. So, and it's a deep wide receiver class. I mean, they have another first-round pick, so – and I called it. So, I guess I can alleviate the situation then. But
So the only thing that I can think that they would do outside of taking wide receiver is pool their two first-round picks together, trade up, and get Justin Herbert. I could totally see that happening with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Either that or trade down, try to pick up a first-round pick next year and tank for Lawrence.
Fair. Okay, that's fair. Okay, I accept your pick then. I accept your pick of CeeDee Lamb, right?
Yep.
Cool. All right, where are we going next? Raj.
Number 13, right? San Francisco. This was the trade that they did with the Colts to give away the defensive tackle Buckner to get this pick. And I think they did that, one, because their D-line is stacked, right? They got Nick Bosa. They got Dee Ford that they traded for with the Chiefs. They got Eric Armstead. They have a good D-line. Buckner was a big piece on that line, but they were able to kind of lose that piece. The reason I think they did is because they needed a receiver. They let Emmanuel Sanders go. Kendrick Bourne, who's like their number 3, number 4 guy. And they also needed this pick is because they had 2 first-round picks, and then they don't have another pick until the 5th round. So they desperately needed to get this second first-round pick because they're not picking in the 2nd, 3rd, or 4th-round pick. Their next pick's at 156. My first 3 picks that I did for the Bengals, Dolphins, and Jags, I bashed the GMs, right? I told you some of their shitty players that they've drafted in the past. John Lynch, who's been the GM of the 49ers since 2017, has been killing it. Last year, Nick Bosa, number 2 overall, Ohio State. 2nd round, last year, Deebo Samuel, South Carolina. He was a star. He played so good in the Super Bowl. Dre Greenlaw, left linebacker, right linebacker out of Arkansas, also awesome stud. So one GM who knows what he's doing for a change is John Lynch. Fred Warner was a 3rd-round pick in 2018. They're starting middle linebacker. They're doing a great job. If Judy's gone, CeeDee Lamb's gone, I think they need receiver to fill that hole. Emmanuel Sanders is leaving. I think they go with Henry Ruggs, 4.27 40-yard dash, Alabama wide receiver. Wasn't as big of a name as Jerry Jeudy, but he came on late last year. 24 touchdowns in his career in Alabama. I think he's going to be an underrated 3rd receiver taken off the board.
You went with Henry Ruggs, right? That was a lot of
Henry Ruggs.
All right.
Henry Ruggs. Henry Ruggs. I think that's who I would pick, and I think that is who they picked.
Jake, what do you think?
I agree that I think they like Henry Ruggs and that they might take him. The only reason why I think that they might not go is if they want to go corner,
Yeah.
but they have a stacked defense already. Like Richard Sherman's not the youngest guy anymore. I think this would be a good spot for C.J. Henderson. John Lynch likes getting his defensive players. San Fran thinks defense first before they think offense. If it's not Henry Ruggs, it's going to be C.J. Henderson.
Gotcha. Pete, what you think? 49ers, what you think?
Yeah, I think so. Overall, I don't really have any other thoughts on that. Just
Pete hates the 49ers. He's like, fuck these guys. I don't care.
Nah, honestly, it's Like I think that's definitely a good pick for them. That's what they should go with. We'll see what with my pick.
I don't disagree with the pick either. I mean, they could go inside offensive lineman, bring Andrew Thomas and make him play inside. I don't know if that works. I have no idea if that works, to be honest. Let's
just say I was right and leave it at that.
Okay, that's fine. That works. You're right. Let's keep going. All right. Pete, Tampa Bay, Tom Brady's new home at 14.
Yeah, so this one's interesting. Early on, a lot of mock drafts I've been looking at, they actually have Derek Brown falling this low, which in our draft we took them a lot higher. So at this pick, I would expect them maybe to go with the O-line, D-line, pick available player, which hopefully would have been Derek Brown or potentially Andrew Thomas, maybe Javon Kinlaw. Looking at what we've got left, second best, I guess we got an edge. We got Kinlaw, and then we also have Andrew Thomas at fourth. I think with this pick, and let's see what you guys have to say, I think I have to go with Javon Kinlaw here.
I love it. That's who I would go with there. I'm surprised he isn't gone yet, but if he's still here, that's the pick to be made, in my opinion. That is the pick to be made.
I think it really is gonna depend on how these guys fall and how it goes. But if let's say Derek Brown is gone, let's say a lot of these other guys like Wirfs, Mekhi Becton, all of them fall the way they're supposed to fall, which I believe they will. I think they have to go down this route.
What do y'all think?
Okay. Yeah, I think they go with the best trench player available.
Yeah.
Either offensively with Andrew Thomas to kind of protect Tom Brady, or Javon Kinlaw trying to go after the quarterback.
I also agree. They re-signed JPP, right, to a 2-year deal. Nadak Makunsa is coming back on a 1-year deal. So they do have some defensive linemen. They have Vita Vea that they drafted in the top 10 not too long ago. Same year, Daron Payne got drafted by the Redskins. But you can never have too many good D linemen. And this guy from South Carolina, first team All-SEC, I think you can't miss with them. But they need offensive tackle help too. But I think I would also go same guy.
It's one or the other. It's going to be the offensive or defensive line. Totally agree. All right, number 15. It's me again. Denver, the Mile High City. John Elway. What does he do here? So they have, I feel like, a lot of holes. They need wide receiver help. They need corner help. They need offensive lineman help. They need linebacker help. So I think it just comes down to best player available at this point, depending on who you think is the best player at this point. And I'm honestly in between C.J. Henderson and Andrew Thomas. But I'm going to go with C.J. Henderson only because –
Damn you!
Right. Really?
That's the right pick, though.
Look, you lost Chris Harris at this point. Like, he's gone, right?
Yeah.
Who's your shutdown corner now? You got to go C.J. Henderson at this point. If he's gone at this point, you go Andrew Thomas and shore up your line. That's the only two ways I see it. What do you think?
I think that's the right pick. Go ahead, JK.
It's definitely the right pick to go. That's the guy I wanted myself for Atlanta. But, they're going with best player available. C.J. Henderson's a great player. He's playing defensive cornerback. He's the best one on the board that's left. You got to go with him.
We were just talking about this right? He's a stud. 4.4, 40-yard dash, did 17 reps 225 pounds. Like that's a pretty good, decent amount for a cornerback of his size. And they need someone to fill Chris Harris's hole that he left when he departed.
True. What'd you think, Pete?
Yeah, I totally agree with you guys. And with that, having that speed, Raj, that 4.4, with him being 6'1", a little over 200, I think it's going to be monster for him to be covering those receivers. And he's the best thing that's left right now, so they got to go with him.
Yep.